And I don't think that's necessarily because I didn't do my best. I think that's just because sometimes at the end of a race, you just get so much adrenaline and it just makes you feel super good.
I have Madan Grewal here on the Handoff. Thank you for coming on the Handoff, Madan.
Thank you for having me.
I have been watching you and your brother run track and cross country. You run for Los Gatos, and being as absorbed in my gear as I have been, I didn't even realize you guys were twins until this year.
It's really surprising. Like, people will see us together and they won't immediately connect that we're twins, but they won't be able to tell us apart.
I to be honest, I thought maybe you were brothers. Well, and you are.
That's what a lot of people think.
Yeah,
and
I didn't realize.
To be fair, we're fraternal, so we're essentially just brothers that were born at the same time.
Oh, whoa! I don't think I've ever met a pair of twins like that.
So with twins, you have like identical and fraternal. Identical is just from the same egg, and fraternals from two different eggs. So we're just like brothers born at the same time.
My stupidity, I didn't realize you were twins, and you're fraternal twins. That's even more mind-bending. That's crazy. You guys have been fighting probably since you were in the womb.
Yeah. Yeah.
You went to school between 2021 and you're graduating now in 2025. You graduated. Did you run all 4 years?
I did not. So I started my first season of cross country was actually in 6th grade. I ran cross country in 6th grade. I'm not sure why I stopped. From my memory, I think I had shin splints, but I'm not super sure. And then when I stopped, Taryn, who was running at the same time, also stopped. Then coming out of COVID, freshman year, every freshman has to take PE, and in PE we have a running unit that sort of culminates with a big fun run with all the freshmen. And so through that unit, I really started to enjoy running. And it was sort of something like my dad ran a lot when I was younger. He's done multiple marathons and all that. You know, I'd run before and I'd enjoyed it then. I started talking with Flynn about it, and Flynn was really nice about inviting me to talk with the team and hang out with the team. I just ended up running with the team. And then come summer, I'm running all the time. I ran the Wharf to Wharf race down in Santa Cruz. Keaton invited me out to the team's Tahoe trip that year. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. I had a great first cross country season, and I was just kind of hooked from there.
You're friends with Flynn. Flynn's a great guy. He really is. And I could see how he would kind of be like, hey, come on, come hang out with us. And you just answered my next question, which is what got you to take it up. You're a great guest. All right, so I guess I'm just going to dive straight into your PRs, if that's okay with you.
Well, I'm more than happy with that.
Okay, so your 2 mile, you did that in 10:37.8. Where was that?
That was at Clovis Twilight.
Okay, that is Clovis.
At Clovis North High School.
Are there any other 2 mile courses other than Clovis for CCS?
I don't think in CCS anyone runs actually, no, I'm wrong. At De La Salle Invitational, which I guess you could call North Coast because De La Salle is North Coast. De La Salle Invitational, their JV is a 2 mile course.
So they have different courses for JV versus varsity?
JV runs a 2 mile, varsity runs I think it's a 5K. It might be a 3 mile. I'm not super sure.
Wow. The rules and traditions all around running just never cease to boggle my mind. I see here you did 2.95 miles. That's undoubtedly Crystal Springs.
That's Crystal.
And you did that in 16:53.7. That's a tough course.
That's a tough course. That was my last ever cross country race, last high school cross country race. I'm super happy with that time. The only thing that sucks about it is I was 3 seconds off of Taryn. I had him in view. It was the last mile, let a gap grow in mile 2, and I was coming back to him in the last mile, and I just, for whatever reason, didn't kick hard enough. That time I'm super happy with.
Oh, Crystal Springs is hot, and there are all those hills, and I'd be happy with that time. For your 3 mile, you did that in 16:45 flat. And where was that?
That was down at Woodbridge. That race was, I was so incredibly sick. I was at the, like, right before I had a nose strip on. I took a Sudafed. I took a nose, I think it's called Afrin, to like open up my nose just because of how stuffy I was. I came through mile 1. I hadn't really raced much. I didn't have any like good races at all before this one. And I came through mile 1 and I look at the board and it said 5:30 and I'm like, oh no. Somehow I held on and I had a great race.
Was this during a time when everybody else was sick?
I don't think anyone else on the team was sick. No.
Yeah, this might have been a random illness. If you've watched many of the other ones, walking pneumonia just ripped through all the teams.
We'll talk about lung issues later.
Okay. I see here your 3.1 mile is 17:41.5. That's undoubtedly Baylands, yeah?
That's Baylands, yeah. That was Baylands 3 in the JV race. I got 3rd, I think. I had a really great race with Evan Corral.
Was that running varsity or junior varsity?
That was JV.
JV. And I see here you've you've done 5K in 1834.8.
Let me check, because I don't think that's my 5K PR.
Yeah, I get everything off of athletic.net.
Well, yeah, I ran another 5K. So my 5K PR, I ran a race in San Francisco right after cross country season in junior year, and I ran 18:08 in Golden Gate Park. Really beautiful course out there.
Considerably faster.
Well, that race was Woodward Park. It was super, super hot. They ran the JV races like 12 in the afternoons, pretty much peak heat. You got a lot of sun on you. At travel meets, I really, really struggle to fuel well and drink well. You just kind of combine all that together and you get it's a good time, but not a great time.
It really bugs me when like a coach gets the team there somewhere, not that this happened to you, but it was just something I'm kind of sharing. When the coach like gets the team there like 3 hours early, and I think hydration gets neglected in that case.
I think more importantly, it's fueling, but I had the luxury of, it was in a way travel meet. So it was just me and my mom and my brother in a hotel room, and we were all racing at the same time. So it just ended up being that we were going to arrive there at the right time. I just really struggle when I'm at meets like this to properly fuel up and actually compete.
Yeah. Okay. You want to talk about your favorite race?
All right. So Crystal Springs to end off my my senior season of cross country. I think it was just a super complete race. I really did a good job. I have a coach, Brad Armstrong, who loves to, Crystal Springs is his favorite. His favorite race to talk about is a race at Crystal Springs where Homestead, their top 5 was ahead of Bellarmine's first runner at the first mile, but they just went out way too hard and Bellarmine came back and ended up beating them at CCS finals. That story is just ingrained in my mind about taking that first mile super easy just because of how downhill it is. You end up gaining so much time from the downhill nature of it. It's better off to spend the energy going uphill in mile 2. That big hill at the start of mile 2 and that big hill at the start of mile 3 are so important that it just makes so much more sense to hold back at the start. And that was just so ingrained in me that I just hit it perfectly and had an amazing race.
How'd you feel at the end of the race?
I had so much energy.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily because I didn't do my best. I think that's just because sometimes at the end of a race, you just get so much adrenaline and it just makes you feel super good. You kind of just ignore the fact that you're cramping up a little bit, have a good time.
I've seen so many people die at the end of Crystal Springs. Okay, let's talk about your track. Track, I imagine the reason you took it up is the same reason you took up cross country, right? I mean, it's
absolutely. I mean, track is one of those things where if you do cross country, you do track, and if you do track, you don't necessarily do cross country.
Yeah. What events do you run in track?
Mostly the mile and the 3200. Although this year I picked up the steeplechase. I ended up running one steeplechase race. It did not end up that well, but I didn't fall. It was just a bad race.
Steeplechase is 3K, right?
So in high school, it's 2 kilometers, and in college, it's 3 kilometers.
So in running the mile, you also do the 1600, yeah?
Yes, yeah. 1632 and then steeple. I'm not that much of a steeplechase guy, but it's something that I kind of want to pursue in college.
So I have your PRs. Let's go through those. You did the 800 meter in 2:15.14.
What race is that from? Do you know?
No, I don't. I didn't.
Because I don't. Oh, you know what that's from? That's from Rustbusters this year. I ran the 4x8, and then I came back like 2 hours later and ran the 800. That one was really interesting because they were separate. They didn't have the heat separated, and so they were just letting us choose which heat to go in. All the fast guys went into the fast heat, and then no one wanted to leave the slowest heat, and so I was like, fine, and I moved up to the second fastest heat, even though I probably shouldn't have been there.
It's a respectable time.
I'm not much of an 800 guy, and in January I got super sick. I think I was going over my training over the year. I think I ran maybe half a mile in the month of January. I was out. Actually, that sickness ended up giving me asthma that I didn't get diagnosed. I didn't actually start treating it until May. But I was given an albuterol inhaler, so I was using that. It was a weird situation.
Is that over now?
No. I'm still dealing with it.
Oh, gosh.
It's completely under control now. I have an inhaler that I take before night, and then I have my albuterol inhaler right here, and I take this before races and stuff just to keep it under control.
I have here your 1600 meter time. You did that in 4:56.72. You broke 5. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was at the Dublin Distance Fiesta. Almost forgot the name. That time was really interesting. That and my 3200 meter PR both came. I was dealing with shin splints. What I did, because I really wanted to, it's senior year. I knew our team is so fast. I knew I wasn't going to end up competing in the postseason. Dublin Distance Fiesta and the Limburg Invitational were going to end up being probably my last chance to really race in a competitive field. So what I ended up doing was just racing through the shin splints. I wanted to try my best to make sure that I would be in shape to race and it wouldn't hurt a lot. My general rule of thumb is I will not take pain meds to deal with to train.
Good for
I'll
you.
take pain meds to race, race, but I will not take them to train. That I think that just leads you to overpush yourself and ultimately injure yourself even worse. So what I ended up doing, I would just use the arc trainer, and I would only do my easy runs on an arc trainer. For workouts, I would warm up on an arc trainer, cool down on an arc trainer, and do my workout while running. So I did all of my easy miles on an arc trainer during that time, and then I'd do whatever, as few workouts as I could to just maintain speed. And then I ended up running Dublin, tried to rest up as much as I could, and then I did Limbrook. We'll talk about in a second, that 37-meter time.
That's coming up.
That was kind of the end of my season.
Did you arc train and aqua jog at the same time?
The aqua jogging started recently. I would not wish aqua jogging on anyone. It is horribly not fun and incredibly hard to kind of keep yourself pushing hard. It's super easy to just kind of sit there and float and let your heart rate drop, sub 130 to the point where you're not really training. The only reason I'm aqua jogging now is my injury just does not permit me to use an arc trainer, use an elliptical, or even really bike all that much.
Okay, well, we'll get to your injuries here in a bit. The 3200, you did that in 10:46.09, and you said there are some interesting details that go along with that.
Yeah, I mean, most interesting, I think, is just the fact that it's slower than my cross-country time. Clovis Twilight is a fast course, although it's not completely flat. There is one really big downhill and then uphill bit, probably coming around 0.75 to go. I think it's quite interesting that my 3200 PR is worse, but obviously I'm working with untreated asthma and shin splints, so kind of not the best conditions to PR. Considering everything, I'm mostly happy with it. It wasn't the best race, but it was decent.
Well, 2 miles is a little bit farther than 3200. I know that mile is farther than 1600. And yeah, you did 2 miles in 10:37.8 versus your 3200, which is 10:46.09. I see here that you did a 4x800 with the team, 8:58.86. Did your lap, was it any faster than the 2:15.14 that you did?
I have no clue what I split. I don't really care too much about the 800. That's more of Taryn's event than my event.
That's what he said.
I do know that I won that race. I ran the anchor leg, and it was so weird, the kind of position I was in, because there wasn't any strong teams in that race. Guy who was in second, I was talking to him before our leg of the race, and he was like, yeah, I'm a 222 guy. And so I'm sat there thinking, okay, I can kind of take this easy. I forget who handed off to me, but I was far enough ahead where it didn't really matter how I ran. I was just gonna kind of end up with the win. It might have been like a 216, 217. I don't care about the 8.
Okay, well, that's cool. Alex and Jordan did that. Are there any races in track you want to share?
My track season wasn't that good. You know what? There is one I can think of. It was, this might have been the last time I ever beat Taryn in a race. It was sophomore year, 3200 meter at Milpitas. The week before, I've always been kind of better at distance than he has, although I didn't beat him in cross country this year. I do have a better 5K PR than him, but I've always been just kind of, since the end of sophomore year, I've always been kind of one step behind him just because of injury, and I really struggle to feel myself if I don't have a set schedule. That obviously leads to more injuries than someone like him who eats a really healthy amount. 3200 meter at Milpitas, sophomore year. The week before, Taryn had broken 5. And so he had broken 5. Neither of us had broken 11 yet. And I really wanted to break 11 before him. It's at Milpitas. Brody Horowitz, great guy. He ended up pacing us out perfectly at 5:30 pace. Yeah, 5:30. So he brought us out perfectly at 5:30. And then he ended up, I can't remember if he just slowed down or if he just ran away from us at the mile mark. And we end up just sticking together. We slowed down a lot. Like we were probably going 5:40 pace coming into the last 2 laps. And I put this perfect move on Taryn with a lap and a half to go, where I went around the outside of him and I perfectly blocked the inside with a lapped runner. And we just went, I think we closed, we ran, I think 11:57. I think it was 11:57.26 is what I ran. And he went 11:57.52. No, 10:50, sorry. I went 10:57.26 and he went 10:57.52. We ended up, that's a 5:27 pace, something like that. We ended up running our last lap sub 5. We went 72 for our last lap. Very negative.
Split. Yeah, big negative split. That's awesome.
And I was just able to really put the hammer down in that last 200 to hold him off.
All right, here's the big question for you. Have you been managing any injuries?
Oh, yes. Start of summer, I ran a steeplechase race. It was a really poor race. Again, I traveled down to LA for it, kind of didn't eat well, drank fine, but it's start of summer in Los Angeles at Cerritos College. Hot, sunny. I hadn't done much running in the heat, so really wasn't used to it. Ran a really poor race. I come back here to Los Gatos, end up running, just doing an easy run to reset and get ready. I had a race planned in Sacramento for the end of the week, and that would be my last chance. I was trying to qualify for Nike National. And so did my easy run. All of a sudden, kind of 10, 15 minutes in, my ankles feel super stiff. It doesn't not hurt just really stiff and don't really feel like I have good control of them. In a run where easy run, it'll be anywhere from 8-minute pace to 8:20 pace. I was going like 9-minute pace. And it was like a struggle to run 9-minute pace. And I ended up finishing up that run and I was like, I'm probably just super sore. It was the first, I hadn't done that many hurdles in a row. I had one rest day. So, I'm just assuming that I'm probably just really sore from this race. Next day, I had a workout planned. I wanted to give myself extra rest. So instead of doing it in the morning when I was planning on doing it, I ended up doing it in the evening. And same thing, I'd go do my warm up. And by the end of the warm up, my ankles just feel super, super stiff. I'm like, okay, maybe I just need a rest day. Maybe I just overdid it at that race on Saturday and I just need to let my ankles rest. And so I do extra recovery. I think I took an ice bath that night, just made sure that I really was ready to run the next day because I really wanted to run at Nike Nationals. I think everyone does. I really wanted to run at Nike Nationals. I really wanted to make this work. The next day I come back and I feel marginally better, but still like 15 minutes in, my ankles just really stiffen up. I don't feel like I can control them that well. And I feel some pressure at the top of my calves. And I was just like, okay, I'm done with this. This was also the first week that I was on Merced's training schedule. I was supposed to be training for a tryout for college. First week, my legs are just not working. So end of the week comes, I'm like, something's seriously wrong. I'm injured. I'm actually super, super lucky. My mom used to work with a physiatrist who's one of the best physiatrists in the Bay Area, probably the best physiatrist, Dr. Saul. And so I was able to get in with him pretty quick. He looked at me for not maybe 10 minutes, felt my leg around, asked me questions, and he was like, you have compartment syndrome, which is somewhat common in runners, but not the most common running injury out there.
I have heard of it, but I do not know what it is.
Essentially, my calf muscles are too big. You have these sheets of tissue, of connective tissue that surround your muscles. In the calf, you have 4 compartments. They kind of go around. You have your calf bone, you have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And this tissue's super, super tough, almost like leather.
I've butchered animals myself, and I think what you're talking about is what we call silver skin.
Probably, I don't know what that is, but that sounds about right.
There's this silver membrane around the muscles, and you tend to collect the muscle that you're going to eat, and then you have to cut that stuff off, and it's really tough.
And so that's super, super tough, and you can only imagine it's probably more tough on a living animal that's not been prepared to be butchered,
not shot, gutted.
What happens is with compartment syndrome is with like repetitive impact, strengthening of the muscle, whatever, the muscle grows, and the sheath around it, the compartment around it doesn't grow. And so when you exercise, what happens is the muscle swells because you get increased blood flow to the muscle when you exercise it. And so when the muscle swells, this tissue is not gonna budge. There's blood vessels, there's nerves in that compartment. So you get swelling and you get decreased blood flow and you get decreased nerve function. When I'm running and my muscle swells up, I start stumbling around because I lose the ability to control my ankles super well. Specifically, if we're looking at the foot like this, I can't, that movement is super hard in my ankle.
Calves are majorly important for running. In fact, Chris is just changing her form. She doesn't like her form. She's moving to a more efficient, higher kicking, using that calf muscle like a spring, right? You have to have that spring there.
More importantly than just like the inability to run aspect of it, you never want to cut off blood flow to anywhere, and you never want to cut off, nerve access to anywhere. The part that sucks about it is I'm sitting here talking to you. I don't feel any symptoms right now. Like I feel like I could go out and run, but I know that if I go out and run 15 minutes from now, my ankles are going to be numb and I'm not going to be able to control them super well. It's a really frustrating injury. I've had tendonitis before where it's like I could have sat here and I could have moved my ankle in a way and it would have hurt. I can't do anything right now sitting here that's going to make me feel injured.
No, you have to exercise. Yeah. And then the swelling happens and then the squeezing happens. In a normal person, does what did we call it? The membrane? Does the silver skin or the compartment or whatever we're calling it, does that normally grow in a normal person?
It'll normally grow. I'm not sure exactly what mechanism causes it. From my basic Google research, it's just repetitive impact. There's sort of 2 types of compartment syndrome you can get. There's one where if you have trauma to the area, you break a bone or crush injury or whatever, just naturally you get swelling there. You get acute compartment syndrome, which is where you've done nothing. There's swelling in the muscle compartment causing symptoms. And that one's really bad because if you don't treat it, you can get muscle death and then you just need to amputate the leg. So I'm very fortunate that I haven't broken a bone. So with chronic exercise compartment syndrome, which is what I have, it's just when you exercise, you get that swelling. But the normal way you get compartment syndrome is by like breaking a leg or something.
Ghastly. The answer to this then is surgery?
Yeah.
And what do they do? Do they just cut the membrane so that it can breathe?
You're exactly right. They just go in there, they do a fasciotomy where they just cut a slit in the membrane. Actually, I'm not sure if it's just a slit or if they cut it in multiple areas.
They could probably...
I just know they cut open the membrane and just allow the membrane to kind of open up so the muscle can expand and not cause problems. I really enjoyed kind of how the human body works, and I really wanted to understand kind of what this injury is and what the treatment was. And so I was looking up and looking at the surgery, and I wasn't looking at the surgery. I was just looking up papers on the surgery, and I was reading through this article about some military member who got the surgery, and I'm scrolling through, and all of a sudden there's this big image of this dude's calf, and there's like, they just have it cut open all the way down the side of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get a really big cool scar or if it's going to be just little holes.
My money's on they're going to make holes.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
I'd rather not deal with a lot of scar tissue.
They try not to scar people up as much as they do these days. Yeah. The doctor that fixed my shoulder did a great job. Oh, yeah. I'm like 70% back. Nice. Oh, tearing your rotator cuff sucks.
Yeah. But before they do that surgery, they have to like test me to absolutely confirm that I have this syndrome. So what they do is they take this big needle that's hollow on the inside and they stick it into the compartment and they measure the base pressure, and then they take it out and I exercise for a bit and then they put it back in and they measure it again. So they're gonna have to do that on both legs.
Ow! Oh, that's awful.
I was looking up this procedure again, and man, those needles are bigger than you'd think. Like, they are thick.
Yeah.
How at least they numb you up.
How are you with that? Are you okay?
I don't think, if anyone tells you they love needles, they're crazy. I tolerate needles. Ultimately, I love running enough and I hate being injured enough. I'll do whatever I need to do to be not injured.
You go kick this problem. You know what? I don't swear on this thing at all. So you've been accepted for a UC Merced.
Yes.
But not to run for them.
No.
Because of this injury, correct?
Somewhat. I've had a really nice dialogue with the coach. He's an amazing guy. Coach V loves talking about running and is just really knowledgeable about it. I was really fortunate. We kind of unintentionally Trojan horsed him. Taryn was visiting. So I had already visited UC Merced and I already decided that I was going to go there. And then Taryn was still split between, I think it was Cal Poly Pomona, UC Merced, and UC Santa Cruz. We were visiting, and obviously he's very obviously the better runner out of the two of us. He's running for UCSC, which is a great program they have out there. We're driving down to go to UC Merced to take just a regular tour. I think we were doing like a normal tour, and then we were going to like sit in on a class. I think it was like an economics class. We're on our way down, and Taryn's texting with the coach, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be there. How long are you going to be there for? Whatever." We were originally going to go on this tour. We got there 20 minutes before the tour, maybe even less than that. And so I'm like, you know what? Get out of the car, go talk with the coach, and I'm going to go park the car, and then I'll go meet you guys. So I parked the car, I go meet with them. It ends up being like the coolest experience I've had. We ended up pretty much kind of ignoring the tour. It was just me, Taryn, and Coach V at the back. And we were just chatting the whole time about UC Merced, about training, and really just nerding out about running, which is just one of the funnest things to do. We're just at the back talking about running. He ends up essentially giving us a personal tour of the school. We get to see his office. We meet with the team. We actually ended up having lunch with one of the guys on the team, Kevin, really energetic guy, really nice.
Sounds like a bunch of really friendly people.
Yeah, we ended up running. It was really funny. They have a kind of an apartment style dorm with like a living room and a couple of rooms and then a shared bathroom. So we were in there earlier, and then we left, and we were texting with the guys, and we're like, because of how important running is for me, I was like, hey, let's go on a run while we're down here. Let's see what it's like. And so they were going to go on a run anyways. And so we just ended up going on a run with them, and it was great. And then we get back to their dorm room and we're hanging out. We're just chilling out. We're changing and then getting ready to leave. And all of a sudden, everyone's left the dorm and we're just like left alone in their like team dorm room. And so we were just like sat there. You ever feel like you're in a place where you're not supposed to be, even though you're allowed to be there?
I feel like that all the time.
Yeah, that's how it felt. We're sat there, and it's like you're in someone's house and they've just left you. So we were just like sat there for a second, and then we ended up leaving and going home. We ended up going to our grandfather's house. Essentially, that because Taryn was considering Merced and ended up talking with the coach, that allowed, and I was there because he didn't have his license at the time, so I had to drive him down there.
So that got your foot in the door.
That got my foot in the door with him.
Yeah.
We ended up talking. He sent me the summer training plan. I got on that. He was like, look, this is something I kind of knew from the start. I have good times. I don't have great times. I think if I hadn't gotten asthma at the start of track season, I would have been in good contention for being on the team. But just because of how my season ended up going and how everything ended up happening, I was talking with Coach V, and he's like, look, when I originally emailed him, because I emailed him before we ended up meeting with Taryn, I was just asking about walk-on opportunities. Because in my mind, I wasn't even thinking that I'd be sort of talking with the coach. I was thinking, look, I need to get my times up before I'm talking with the coach. All my correspondence with him before had just been walk-on opportunities. Cut to a week later, and I'm texting with him, and I have the training plan, and I'm talking with him, and he's like, look, you're not quite where we need you to be. You're going to be in a tryout with a couple other guys. I'll give you the summer training plan for you to do. If you don't end up making it on the team, I can give you a team manager position where you can still train. It's just your primary job is to help out with the team.
That is so thinking outside the box, right?
Yeah, like I'm really grateful that he offered that to me, and I'm hoping that he still needs to talk with his admin and all that to figure everything out. And I really hope that we can do it, because I think you can train on your own. It's so important to have people around you who really are fully in that life. If you have people around you who aren't super, training isn't their number one priority, it's not going to end up being your number one. Just the opportunity to be around some of the guys and to be in an environment where training is the number one priority is just going to be such a game changer in allowing me to actually develop and hopefully end up on the team at some point.
So I take it you're going to get the operation.
Yes.
And then you have to recover.
So yeah, that's going to be interesting. There is like another option, which is very much less likely to work, which is to just kind of rest and let the muscle shrink on its own. That would take like almost a year. And by that point, I don't want to be aqua jogging for almost a year. Surgery is pretty much the only option. I still need to figure out logistics for college classes and kind of everything with living in Merced while recovering from a pretty major surgery.
When you recover from that, can you walk, or are you going to need a wheelchair?
I think I'll be able to walk. It's going to be very limited. So kind of my plan, which I still need to talk with the disability services over at UC Merced, but I think my plan would be to stay here in Los Gatos, stay here in the Bay Area for like a week or two while I'm recovering, and then go over to Merced to kind of finish recovering. I don't know how well the physical therapy is in Merced. Merced's not, super well known for its medical field. So I'm hoping they have some good physical therapists out there. If not, just kind of got to roll with the punches. Hopefully I can do something remote. I know they have some decent team trainers out at UC Merced, but I don't know if I'm going to have access to them or whatever. So we'll see how everything ends up. I'm sure it'll all work out fine. It's certainly going to be interesting recovering from a surgery and going to Merced.
I'd like to reach out to you later when you're in school and see how you're doing.
I'd love to talk again.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on again, like maybe next year or something, see how things turned out. Are you going to declare a major, or are you going to be undeclared?
Right now, I'm majoring in management and business economics. I'm not super sure if I'm going to keep that for the rest of my 4 years, which means I'm probably going to change my major. I'm not super sure what to. I'm thinking maybe there's a management of innovation science and technology major that I'm thinking about moving to, and then I'm thinking about minoring in electrical engineering. We'll see how everything ends up.
Interesting. My wife is an electrical engineer. It's an interesting field because I'm a computer scientist myself. For every 9 of us, there's 1 of them.
Yeah.
So electrical engineers are in demand.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is Taryn's going to Santa Cruz for electrical engineering, and my dad is I think he graduated as an electrical engineer. I'm not doing it to follow them. I'm doing it just because that's one of the few engineering minors that UC Merced has. It is kind of funny that I might end up doing the same thing as.
Okay, who do you look up to?
John and Googie.
And why do you look up to him?
If you look at any of his cross country races, he just runs from the front and he just runs away. His races are incredible. I wish I had the strength to run like him.
Well, I hope after the surgery you do get strong. Like I say, I want to follow you. Our kid is coming in from 8th grade, and he's going to be a freshman this year, and he is thinking about taking up distance sports like 1,600 meter and 3,200 meter like you do. What advice does Madan have for that freshman?
The first thing you have to do is enjoy it. You can put all the discipline and education you want into your training and into your just understanding of the sport, but if you don't enjoy it, that discipline's going to fall apart. If you can find a way to enjoy it, that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that I like what Aiden said. Aiden said, try it, see if you like it. If you don't like it, go do something else. But he says you might like it and you might discover you got a lot of talent.
We have a couple guys on our team. Nolan is a really good example of this, where he's an incredible talent in the 800 meters. He's sub 2 and he doesn't do, yes. Yeah. He's like 2 flat, maybe sub 2, but he doesn't do cross country. And so I was talking to him about it. I'm like, look, this is like for your event. This is cross country would be super beneficial, but he doesn't love running that much to do cross country. And so all he'd be doing by doing cross country is just degrading the love for for the 800.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, look, just keep doing soccer, and maybe at some point you'll find the spark to do cross country. But for now, just enjoy the 800.
The 800 is definitely a strange animal, and I really liked your brother's philosophy on how to do it.
Yeah.
He was just like, win, right? Forget the times, just win. Do you have any questions for Althouse Media Group? And if you don't, that's fine.
I don't think I have any questions. I think I've had a great time in this interview.
That's okay. That's okay. This is Madan Grewal, not Taryn. He's been dealing with some serious injuries, but he's headed off to Merced. And I really like the way his coach and he are thinking outside the box. How can he stay in the running culture? And he's thinking about, he's going to get the surgery for his compartmental syndrome in his calves. He's going to get that fixed, going to heal up, but he's going to maybe be the team manager for a while, which keeps his headspace in it, keeps him grounded and running. And we're going to follow Madan well into school and see how all that's going. Madan, thank you so much for being on the Handoff.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much.